Yeah, hello. Today we're going to show you how to create modules or apps in Vienna Advantage and publish those on Marketplace. It is important for every ERP system to be extendable and flexible so that you can put in or create your industry templates, your extensions, customizations, and you don't need to do the rework again and again. So, Vienna Advantage offers a kind of architecture that enables the creation of extensions and modules and deliver these on the runtime to the users. To understand how to create modules, it is important for us to understand what is the system made up of. That means, what is the system architecture? So this is an overview diagram of Vienna Advantage system, the architecture. Now it basically shows you all the components, what the system is actually made up of, and as you can see, there is a large component which is data, which is basically about 60 to 70% of the system is made up of data only. Um, it is a model-driven architecture, hence certain components which you see in the application, such as windows, tabs, fields, print formats linked to windows or to transactions, reports, tables, views, language packs, certain configurations in the system, workflow configurations, roles, rights, dashboards. So pretty much everything is consisting of data only. And we have a kind of application components which are packed in an application dictionary, which reflect all these components onto the user interface. And there are certain business components which influence the process of the system. So all this basically are components and settings within the system itself, and are saved or stored in the database. So extension of these things, let's say if you would like to create a new window, would be just an entry into the database, creating a new record into the window, or modifying a print form would be modification of data records within the system. And there are also coding components such as the core logic. The core logic basically is responsible for converting all these data records into a user interface or into a certain logic. So that means the logic takes care of that the records entered in the windows are responsible for creating is responsible for creating the windows from the records entered for that window. So it creates the window from the meta data basically of the windows. This is basically the core logic. And then we have certain code classes also as a part of the system, like this could be forms, which actually could be any kind of business forms which you could create by coding and you could insert into the system. And we also have web services. Web services are responsible to link your system to other systems, or for example, you require web services to link your mobile device to the Vienna Advantage system. And there are certain files which are also in the complete or as a part of the component are in the system. These files could be, for example, the crystal report files, or certain other files which are there. So you've seen here that we see here that the system consists of majorly of data records and certain code components or classes or DLLs, which basically are there. Now, uh, basically all of these components are exchangeable, extendable, editable, um, at the runtime without recompiling the application. So that means you can even exchange the existing windows in the system. You can exchange or create new windows in the system. You can create print formats in the system. You can create or exchange or extend even the core logic within the system, even that basically is possible, and any type of component. So that moves us to the next slide. Now, what are modules? Now, modules are groups of certain components of the system which extend the existing functionality and which can be installed into a running system. So the modules basically consist of the same components which the system consists of. So let's say if the system is a big bucket of all these components, then a module could be a small container which contains all these things at a small level and puts that container's content into the bucket to extend it, to enhance it, to modify it. A module could consist of simply windows, or I mean, not only simple windows, but also windows which are related to each other. It could be consisting of fields, of database tables, views. It could be consisting of reports or print formats, even business logic. That means code written separately could be delivered into the running system and deployed on the runtime. And also you can create and send forms, hard coded forms into the system. Though the system is mostly not hard coded, the functionality is at least functionally is not hard coded, but you could create forms and deliver them into the system on runtime. You could also deliver the web services for linking other systems to the existing deployment. And also data. Data is a major part of the system as it influences the complete business process which is there. So modifying business process would mean modifying data without any coding. So you could also deliver data, and you could deliver language packs as well, which again is just data in the system. So all these components, including the core components of Vienna Advantage, um, can be delivered as modules into the system. Even the procedure of delivering modules, which is the market itself is a module. So extension of the market or enhancement of the market is delivered through the market itself. And yeah, it's basically updating itself from time to time. So basically pretty much every extension to the system can be delivered using modules, and modules can be updated so that new versions can be delivered from the marketplace. So if you deliver a module or create a module and you have a change in that module and you would like to roll it out, so this change to all your users, that means you give us an update of that module, we put it on the marketplace, and every user will be able to get it without any kind of integration work, manual integration work, or any kind of coding work involved in that. Uh, in this video series, we're going to cover basically how to create these modules so that you can extend the system as per your requirements. Now, extensions are always required if you are working in a particular industry, in a particular country. So whatever changes you might have, customizations you might have, you don't want to do it again and again for every customer. You would like to do it once and probably replicate it to all the customers coming in for you. So we'll show basically how to deliver modules and create modules. In this part, we're going to show you how to create a simple module containing just data. Data, basically settings. I'm going to create a module which basically consists of account settings. So I'll be creating accounting groups for German language here, and I would group this whole stuff into a module, and then I would deliver this to the marketplace, and from there everybody can get that module. So that's what we're going to do today. Now, how can a module be packaged and installed? Once you build a module in the system, all the module components are packed into XML files, and they can be delivered using the marketplace. The market does the following: takes all these components and put all these components to the right places so that it's basically ready to use as such. It does the necessary database entries and also takes care of giving the rights to the admin users. What are the prerequisites for creating a module? First of all, anybody can create a module, so there is no restriction that only partners can create modules or only Vienna does creating of modules. So anybody can create modules. You just need to register to the Vienna community, and you need to get a module prefix from Vienna. What is a module prefix? As you know, that module consists of largely of data, and we deploy these modules and install these modules and integrate with existing functionality in order to make out that a particular component is part of a particular module and also can be updated later on. We need to identify these components also after the deployment very clearly. So every company creates its own functionality, and it has its own IDs for each function or component. So in order to distinguish between this functionality and the components, we have certain logic to keep apart the prefix, the IDs. So we use these prefixes in order to distinguish the modules from each other. So you can apply for these prefixes, or you can get these prefixes very easily from us. You just send us an email or raise a ticket in the community portal, and you'll get a prefix. This is just to make sure that the functionality doesn't mix this up and things do not go wrong. So you can get a module prefix, and you need to know obviously how to create the modules. So then you can start. So let's go into the system now and create a module here. So for creating a module, you need to log in into the system administration. So I'm doing it here. Now in your system there is a window called module management. You go to that window. Now here all the modules are listed that you might have created from this system, or you might have installed into that system. So there is a structure for these modules. So for creating a new module, you just create an entry here. So I'm going to create a module called it's basically a module for German accounting groups. Versioning is it's 4 digits, and I need to enter the prefix which I received for that module. So it's here VSGA. And I need to place an underscore here. In case you are having a separate DLL for that, a separate coding base for that, you need to enter the namespace. In this case, I'm not having a separate one, it's just a data module. So I'm just entering the Vienna Advantage namespace, and in assembly name, there will be the assembly name. In this module, I'm not going to explain you much about assembly name and namespace, because I'm just simply creating a data module. Later on, the other videos will contain parts of the development, proper different modules for including coding. So there will be explaining you all these components. Now that's basically all. We don't need anything else. If this module has certain dependencies on other modules, you can mention it here. It's just a text field right now, so that you just mention it, so every user comes to know that this module is dependent on some other module. So I'm just saving it for now. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open the German accounting group window, or the accounting group window, and I'm going to enter some data in that, which I'll be grouping into that module and delivering it to other users. I'm going to open the account group window, and it does not contain any data so far, so I'm going to create some records in this. I'm logged into the system level, so any data created in the system level and taken into a module and later on delivered to a client side will always be delivered into the system level. Any data created in a tenant level, in a client level, can be compiled also into a module. That data at the time of the installation of the module will be delivered into the tenant which is selected at the time of installation of the module. So if you have any kind of Windows or application components, they are normally settled, or they are normally created at the system level, and they are also used at the system level. So automatically, by creating components in the system level, you will make sure that the application components will be delivered to the customers or to the application deployment later on at the system level, and any working data which is used at the tenant level will be delivered into the tenant level, into that tenant which you select while installation. So that will be specific tenants which you already have created in your deployment. So I'm going to create some accounting codes which I have here, a few I have here prepared. So at the first primary group I have here K0BA, and which is okay, that's basically a balance sheet group, so I'm marking it here and I'm simply saving it. And then I go to the translation, because this is a translated version. This is German. Let me also mark here that it is DE for German accounting group. And let me go into the translation. So translated, and there is a subgroup. So this is basically just data which I'm entering here. Okay, here we go. Now this is data I have entered as you would do it in a normal system configuration. You would build your accounting groups, etc. You could also build your workflow, etc. So all type of data can be entered in the system, and now we are going to put this data which is entered into a module. For that, at the right hand side of every window you have something called mark. So we are marking this data record and we're putting it into this module. So this data has been marked for a particular module. Now remember, subgroup and there's a child tab of subgroup called translation subgroup. Um, Now, basically, you just need to mark the child level record, and the parent level record is automatically taken along, because it requires that um, that main group or the parent. So it takes automatically the sub level in it. So in the same way, we will also mark this one. So we have now marked two different tabs, and the parent tabs will automatically be taken into the module. So I will enhance this complete account group with a lot of other groups, and I'll then mark all these. So after marking all these, I'll show you how to proceed and create that final module. Now here I am in that module management window where I created this accounting group module, and you'll see that there is some data which has been marked for that module. Now finally, for creating the module schema or the XMLs, you need to click on that button. This button will basically create the XML files and place it on your server PC or server computer, server hardware, and which you can basically send to VIENNA Advantage to put on marketplace.